Hi guys, welcome back to Ponderings from Palm Coast. I'm Mark Webb, and today, in a following kind of platform, I'm trying to present to you choices and opportunities for you to participate. So if you look back at several of my other episodes, I have brought you the Democratic parties that are available. Flagler, the 50-51 group. We've talked to Indivisible. And if you look back at my other episodes, I'm trying to present to you areas where you can get information, learn what's happening, and get involved. You hear me all the time say, go to the city hall meetings. There's one tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. If you ride an e-bike, you may want to be there. So today, I would like to have a conversation with a good friend of mine, Jerry Ashford. He is the president of the Flagler Democratic Black Caucus. Jerry, thanks for coming today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Excellent. And so obviously, the people that know about your group are proactive and involved and participate. Tell us a little bit about the Black Caucus here in Flagler. What are your goals? What's your passion? What is it that you want to let people know you guys are trying to do?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, Mark. Appreciate it very much. Our primary purpose is to represent the interests of the black community here in Palm Coast and to support the involvement of the black community in local governance initiatives and as well as the larger interests of national elections and regional elections and so forth. While we may not be, it seems to me that the black interests are not as concentrated geographically or philosophically as they were in the past, but nevertheless we have some interests that are unique to our community and need to be fostered, supported, and encouraged. So our primary purpose is to get our community actively involved in local governance issues, identification of candidates for office in the local area and the county area, and just making sure that our particular point of view is represented and more importantly, I think, understood by people within the community. The Flagler County Democratic Black Caucus is a fairly new organization, and like many organizations like us, we have struggled in the early years. For the first 2 years, we struggled a bit in figuring out the organizational needs and nuances and so forth. And now we're trying to develop a meaningful program that will meld with the larger democratic interests, yet speak to our particular concerns.
So do you have in your outreach as you're retooling, because I know at the state level, the Democratic Black Caucus is pretty powerful and strong, and a lot of the counties have. Do they have caucuses? Because they're pretty much by county.
By county. It's organized now. You need to make sure that you separate the legislative Black Caucus from just the Black Caucus organizations comprising the voters and citizens. Yes, there are, I believe, 40 some county organizations out of the 60-plus counties that exist. And all of us are working hard to grow the organizations, become established and influential in our particular geographical areas.
Absolutely. And the challenges that we face as a liberal democratic group are very similar in a lot of ways, and then very different in other ways. And I found that in a lot of the conversations I have, the perception of the direction is unclear, unfocused, and we need to work better together, I believe, to find those similar, like-minded goals and objectives and to grow all of us together. You know, that old adage of tide rises all boats. If the liberal, democratic, and I hate using branded names because it's very misleading, but if we rise the concerns we all have individually, we will all meet whatever those goals we want to have, finding candidates or changing perceptions of things like that. So how does one become a member of the of your caucus?
Well, it's relatively simple. Of course, if you have access to the internet, you may find us at Flagler County dbc.org. That's flaglerdbc.org. And at that site, you will find our enrollment form and, the membership dues and so forth. The dues structure is very minimal, and I think within reach of everyone who's interested in being a member of the organization. And if that doesn't work for you, you can always feel free to reach me at my email address is jashford442@gmail.com.
Excellent.
And I would assist anyone who's interested in joining up with us to go through the process.
Well, absolutely.
And everyone is welcome. Now, you should not be misled by the name. We accept all members of any ethnic, racial background, economic background, wherever. Everyone is welcome to join us in our cause.
Now, with some clubs, they require a democratic registration. Does your caucus require that as well?
For membership, no. For holding office, yes.
And that's important because if you're an MPA or you're an independent, there's a place for you. We have places to fit. If you're concerned about things that are happening by the hour, unfortunately, don't let that stop you to reaching out to Jerry or any of the other clubs that we have. So what kind of things are you guys working on now? What do you see the next year to be before the election? It's kind of on y'all's radar.
Well, one of our most recent endeavors is in September this month, we introduced our first ever a newsletter in which we lay out activities, coming activities, canvassing activities, activities where people can become involved in the process. We're taking a slightly different approach to the newsletter. At this point in time, so far out in front of the elections, we are introducing some general interest topics that people may be interested in. And we have some regular columns about then and now, representing historical facts about black involvement in the life, culture, and athletic activities and so forth of America and contributions that we have made, and more recent activities and contributions. And then we have another column, Did You Know? Did You Know presents significant contributions that black citizens have made to our society in the past. For instance, the traffic lights that you go through every day when you're driving around Palm Coast, the 3-colored traffic light was designed by a black inventor. And there are a number of other contributions that have been made. So it's just a general interest kind of thing, one, to help people have pride in their heritage, but also to inform other readers that, you know, we're not just sort of hanging around, but we are participating in the overall development of our culture and making valuable contributions.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to grow and inform, and what I always keep saying, I think that all of the clubs and groups and organizations need to be ready and be prepared with arms wide open to capture, embrace, and bring in those disgruntled or unhappy voters that didn't really think the direction that we're headed now is correct. Do you now? And I loved what you had talked about, open to all races and all like-minded people, and they all should be. Have you seen? I'm wondering how the outreach is going in the Hispanic or the brown community. Are they being reached out? Are you seeing those groups being reached out to?
Have not seen a significant involvement of the Hispanic community. We are interested in such, and we have intentions of reaching out ourselves to Hispanic representatives. But right now, no, we do not have significant representation. And I think that, as in many cases, once we sit down and talk with one another, we will find that their interests are more aligned with our interests than are disparate from our interests. So we're looking forward to that opportunity. Right now, our focus is really on growing our local membership. And given the local minority population, our membership should be and needs to be much larger than it is. And so we're working hard at that. I have only been in office for a few months, and my focus at this point is to develop a strong infrastructure for the organization, and then build on that infrastructure with activities and involvement and so forth to attract more members. I think people are attracted to an organization that has a structure, a purpose, you know, and they're getting ready to do some things. And so we're trying to establish ourselves in that way.
So, Jerry, where can I go to one of your meetings? How often do you have them?
We did not have meetings during the summer. Summer now is obviously over. We're past Labor Day, and we are planning our first general membership meeting for early October. Unfortunately, we have not settled on a date yet. We're going to do so in the next day or so, and we'll be publicizing that meeting. Most of our meetings are held at the DIM headquarters at Marketplace. Some of our meetings will be held in other locations, that will allow us to have a different type of meeting that may involve a social component, but most of the meetings will take place at the Democratic headquarters.
Excellent.
And we'll have plenty of publicity out there
Right.
about those meetings.
Well, and I have found, and I've shared this before, the need to inform the public that we exist, that your caucus exists. And then when I do canvassing and I'm knocking on Democrats, because we're doing a big push right now to get people to register for mail-in ballots. But it's a great reason to knock on the door, check on a like-minded person, somebody that has taken the effort to register as a Democrat. And I find the story is amazing. And even with the black community, when I'm talking to people, they don't even know there is a black caucus. They're not aware. So I hand
Right.
them the information. I inform them of the things that are available. And almost consistently, I get, I'm not alone. There's other Democrats around me. And you would be amazed at how many like-minded Democrats there are that want to join, want to get involved. The other thing, as I go to the county committee meetings or the city meetings, I don't see anyone of color involved, even in the clubs. And so I'm trying to put out and remind people that there are committees and groups and boards that the county commissioners put together that are all volunteer. You just have to apply and get that information out. Because just recently, last week, there was a committee of e-bikes and pedestrian. Who knows what they're going to do, but it's a sanctioned, organized committee by your city council. They had 3 people apply. And when I talked to most of the people, they didn't even know it was available. Mm-hmm. And so it's an opportunity, and you and I, we're all looking right now, we're looking for you, the next candidate, to run for one of the many offices we have available to step up and be involved in.
Well, we are working along with our fellow clubs and the Democratic Executive Committee. We're participating in that effort to find qualified candidates that are fully representative of the community
Right.
that we're serving. And as a new approach, at least I think it's new, we're offering substantial support, financial and otherwise, to people who are interested in running for office. So we are prepared, the Democratic Executive Committee as well as the caucuses and the clubs, we are prepared to offer training, support, and encouragement, as well as financial support to individuals who wish to run for office, because we think that it's very important that our interests, whatever they may be, the Palm Coast Democratic Club, the Flagler Beach Club, the Black Caucus, the Women's Caucus, that those interests must be represented in some way. And so we're working hard to find qualified candidates. Part of the problem is, of course, that Palm Coast consists primarily of retired individuals who are very serious about retirement. And so it's hard to get people involved in this volunteer activity that requires a lot of work without compensation. And so while volunteer effort has always been a unique characteristic of American citizenship. It's not all that attractive to a lot of people, and so we're working hard to find people who do have an interest.
Yeah, and the numbers show we are behind in a 2-to-1. This is a very conservative, have been. If you want to really deep down, you were talking about the history. Look at the history of Flagler County over the last 100 years or so. It will surprise you on where you are, where you live, and the cultural and the challenges of the liberal mindset. And even within the struggles of the racism here has been horrendous for many, many, many years. But I don't see history as any more than a source of information to motivate people to try to make that change and to try to get like-minded people from anywhere to run for office. I don't care whether it's mosquito control or school board or
Right.
whatever, to become visible and to have that speak. A lot of these are nonpartisan, and that's a perfect opportunity to get in there. Jamie Ruddy, who is our recently elected school board, was a proud Democrat, is a proud Democrat, and won with Republican support because she spoke to the needs of the community, which doesn't have to be a partisan issue. And like I say all the time, the cost of your water doesn't matter what party you're
Right.
in, right? Whether your taxes go up or down, or the quality of your road, or whether your swells aren't functioning, has nothing to do with how you're registered to vote. And I welcome all voices to improve and to make Flagler County and Palm Coast better, because you guys reach out to the entire county, and that means Bunnell and Flagler Beach and all over, to try to get these cities to realize that they can be heard if they get organized.
Right.
So
I think that one of our efforts, and being new to the area and new to the organization, I am not yet fully informed about the geographical distribution of the black community throughout the county. I do know that these are early years, that our organization has focused on Palm Coast as a recruitment base. And so part of our effort for this year is to reach out to other areas of the county and identify people beyond the bounds of Palm Coast and offer them the opportunity to join with us, to be of service to us, and so forth. In my opinion, one of the characteristics of the black community in Palm Coast is, unlike in some past historical eras, we're not all accumulated or congregated in one geographical space where you can point to that space and say, well, we need better roads, we need this, we need water. We're all over town.
Sure.
And we have, when you look at the black community in Palm Coast in particular, there's more commonality with the rest of the citizens, socially, economically, thought-wise, than there are differences. We've all traveled similar paths. We've all had similar success. That's why we're able to live in a place like Palm Coast. And so we need to focus less on the differences and more on the commonalities and where our interests are joined. As you indicated earlier, right? It doesn't matter what party you are in or what color you are, your water bill is going to go up, you know?
Right.
You've got to pay for this, what is it, $200 or $300 that it's going to take to improve the water system.
Right.
If the roads need to be paved, doesn't matter what you are politically, you're going to have to pay for that road. And so we need to stop looking at superficial kinds of differences and understand that we are, in reality, in the same boat, and we're going to gain more from working together.
Exactly. Now you mentioned, so I usually ask my guests early on, and I was so excited to have you here, and we dove right in. How long have you been in Palm Coast, and where did you come from before you got here?
Well, we came here from Tallahassee after a long trail across the country, but we have owned property here for about 10 years, but we used in the early years, the first half of that 10 years, we used the property as a vacation retreat. And then when we both retired about 4 years ago now, we decided to come here. It was our intention at the time, to convert our little vacation retreat into something different for full-time living, but the market wasn't right, and we just decided, well, this will do, and I think that has turned out to be a somewhat good decision. So we've been here permanently just 4 or 5 years, but I've been coming here for a long time. I first came here with a friend from Washington, D.C., who was introducing us to Florida. And we made several stops along the way, and we used to come down to Legacy Resort over here and stay. And then, just like everyone else, just became infatuated with Palm Coast, and here we are.
It does attract
Yeah.
people from all over.
Right.
So what kind of industry or work were you involved with?
I was in the healthcare industry, and I have been a senior executive in some of the larger healthcare organizations, and a consultant to other countries and organizations. I was a consultant to the Health Portfolio Committee in South Africa when they converted the country to the current democracy, and I was a consultant to Lech Walesa in Poland. I consulted with groups in Brazil, primarily in establishing managed care type operations. And most recently, I was pulled out of retirement to run the Florida High Risk Health Insurance Pool, which no longer exists, but prior to Obamacare, it was the resource for people who had been turned down by commercial insurances because of pre-existing conditions. And in return for not having to take those people into their commercial pool, the insurance industry supported the high-risk pool. So if you were been turned down by 2 commercial insurance companies, you could present that info to the high-risk pool and automatically be entitled to coverage through the pool. So I ran that program for a number of years for state of Florida. And when, of course, Obamacare came into being, the high-risk pool was no longer necessary.
Because that captured.
I decided retirement was a good idea.
Well, man, so we could spend a whole hour talking about healthcare. And, but so within your, I think on your website, there is a link to a donation button.
We have both a link for membership and a link for donations, yes.
Right.
And both are very welcomed.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
We are considering restructuring our membership dues structure to provide for recurring donation type membership, where we can, because we really can't do much with a $25 membership fee. The commitment financial commitment needs to be much larger than that if we are to do anything meaningful. That's just a reality of current day life. And so we're taking a look at how our membership fees are structured, as well as having a recurring donation structure so that people can become involved in whichever way is most comfortable for them.
Exactly. Well, as you guys hear me say all the time, democracy is not free.
That's right.
Yes, you can volunteer. Definitely get involved. There are opportunities for you every day, somewhere, some way to help out. And that's why I'm trying to present options and places for people to get organized. I was just seeing on the news this morning that the Republican Party, the Democrat Party of Florida, that the Republicans have 10 times the money in their war chest for this upcoming election as the Democrats. And we know most of the time money matters. Not always. Sometimes you can spend a ton of money and not get elected. So Jerry, any really important final thoughts, things that you want to share to let people know about participating, joining?
Well, I think that at this point in time in our history as a society, participation is extremely important. I often think of some of the scenes that we see on TV where a building is demolished, with strategically placed explosives, all right? And in a matter of 60 seconds or less, they can bring down a building that took many years to develop, all right, to build. The planning, the construction, finishing it off with everything took years. And yet, with properly placed explosives, you bring it down in seconds. And the same thing is happening to our society right now. We have spent years and years trying to build a democratically positive and equal society, and it is just being destroyed with the stroke of a pen or many strokes of pens with different pieces. And just in an instant, you know, history is gone. And for whatever we can't physically destroy, we want to just remove everything else from the libraries, from the bookshelves and so forth, and act as if it just never happened.
Yeah.
And so this is not a time to be on the sidelines. This is a time where if you thought that the time for action had passed and we are all just going to float along through retirement, that's no longer true, if it ever was true. And so it turns out that the fight for democracy is an ongoing effort, continuous effort, and as long as you're here and you're breathing, it's a part of your responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. What was it Ben Franklin said after he got finished with the Constitution? We've handed you a democracy if you can keep it.
Right.
And so I'm all about communicating with people that haven't been touched yet. And I use this example when I'm talking to a neighbor who's retired. He's from New York. He's got his pension. He's got his pool. Doesn't watch any of the news or whatever.
Right.
And he could care less about all the stuff that's happening because he hasn't been touched. It hasn't touched him.
Oh, but it will.
Well, I was talking with him this weekend, putting the trash out. I think he was out there, and I was asking him how things were going, and he said, "Yeah, pretty good." And I said, on Friday or Thursday of last week, went down to CVS. Wanted my COVID. I'm 68 years old. I saw on the news, if you're 65 or older, go down, get your COVID shot.
Nope.
Went down there, and the very nice person, the pharmacist, says, "Well, I can't give you this shot. You don't have a prescription." And I went, "Pardon me?" "Well, no, our policy now," and he admitted it could change in a day. He said, "You need to contact your doctor and have them submit a prescription." So let's fast forward. It's Sunday afternoon. My neighbor, who's never been touched, who's not in the best of health, and I said, "Hey, John, how's it going?" "Oh, really good." I said, "Hey, have you gotten your COVID shot yet?" He lost a family member to COVID, so it touched him years ago. He said, "No, I'm planning on going down there and get that. I'm over 65. They told me I could get it." I said, "Well, guess what, John? Good luck with that, because you need a doctor's prescription." Here is a registered Republican, very happy with what's going on in today's world, but couldn't believe that action. And I went, "You just got touched, John," because I kind of joke with him about that. And so sadly, those opportunities, those issues are going to present themselves, and we need to be there, and we need to be organized to grow these groups and to educate. Part of the value of joining any of these clubs is you get solid, good information from like-minded people that can direct you to where to get or know or to find stuff. And I know I'm a big proponent in group conversations, Blue Forum on Fridays. Our numbers are growing. We're seeing new faces every Friday, people coming in wanting to know what's really happening and where to get good information and develop hope and belief that we can survive this destruction of our democracy like you were describing. Well, Jerry, I'm so glad I finally got you to come in and speak with us.
Pleasure.
And once again, help is out there. Organizations are out there. Organizations that need your help, that need you to volunteer and participate and step up, because now's the time. We've got 10, 12 months before the primaries, and I really, really believe that it makes a big difference. So thanks so much.
Well, thank you.
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate you
Appreciate
coming.
it. Very good.
Guys, please like and subscribe, but even more, take a look back at some of the other episodes that I've presented. You will find, like Jerry, the president of the REC, the chair, or not the REC, the DEC. I am trying to get the REC chair to come in here and sit with us because I want to hear from him. But opportunities here in Palm Coast are there, available. Participate. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we will catch you next time. Stay safe, okay?